The screech of twisted metal pierces the dawn as the California Coastal Express derails near Santa Barbara. Among the first responders, Marcus Torres, a local mechanic with a military past, races toward the wreckage. Through thick smoke and sparking wires, he finds Sarah Mitchell trapped in a precariously balanced train car. She seems oddly calm despite the chaos, her eyes focused and calculating. As he works to free her, she clutches a sleek laptop to her chest like a lifeline. In those crucial moments, neither realizes how this chance encounter will reshape their lives. Marcus sees only a passenger in distress. Sarah sees an unexpected variable in her carefully constructed escape plan. When their eyes meet, something passes between them, a flash of recognition, though they've never met. But who is really saving whom? And why would a simple train passenger risk everything to protect a laptop during a crash? Marcus's hands remained steady as he cut through the mangled door, but his mind raced with tactical assessments. The woman, Sarah, according to her business card, watched his every move with an intensity that triggered old instincts he'd seen that looked before, in operators scanning for threats, not in civilian crash victims. "Almost there," he called out, the rescue saw's whine drowning out the chaos around them. "Can you move your legs?" Yes. Her response was clipped, precise. She adjusted her grip on the laptop, and Marcus caught a glimpse of what looked like military-grade reinforcement on its case. The door gave way with a groan. As Marcus reached in, his dog tag slipped from beneath his workshirt. Sarah's eyes locked onto them, something shifting in her expression. Special forces? Former. He helped her navigate the twisted metal. But right now, I'm just a mechanic who happened to be nearby. Sarah tested her weight on shaky legs, one hand still clutching the laptop. Lucky coincidence. "Ma'am, you should let the paramedics check that laptop for damage." "No!" The word carried such authority that Marcus found himself straightening instinctively. "The contents are sensitive, company property." Before he could respond, a man in a sharp suit pushed through the gathering crowd. "Miss Mitchell, thank God you're all right." He reached for Sarah's arm, but she deftly sidestepped. "I'm fine, James. But we need to secure, of course." The man, James, glanced at Marcus with barely concealed suspicion. "We have a car waiting." Marcus watched as Sarah allowed herself to be led away, noting how she positioned herself to keep both him and James in her peripheral vision. The laptop never left her grip. A paramedic approached, gesturing at a cut on Marcus's arm he hadn't noticed. As she cleaned the wound, his phone buzzed. A text from an unknown number. "Thank you for the rescue. Some doors are better left closed." He deleted the message immediately. Muscle memory from his former life. But questions nagged at him as he helped the other first responders. Why would a corporate tech worker have reflexes like a combat veteran? What was on that laptop worth protecting with military-grade armor? And why did he feel like he'd just been drawn into something far bigger than a train crash? The sun climbed higher as Marcus worked, illuminating the full scope of the derailment. The engine lay on its side, passenger cars scattered like fallen dominoes. Yet something about the pattern struck him as wrong. After 15 years of fixing machines, he could read mechanical failures like a language. This one was speaking in tongues. He knelt to examine a section of track, finding metal stress patterns that didn't match a natural derailment. His fingers traced grooves that shouldn't be there. "Sir," a police officer waved him back, "this is now an active investigation scene." Marcus nodded and retreated, but not before snapping a mental picture of those marks. His time in special forces had taught him to trust his instincts. Right now, they were screaming that Sarah Mitchell wasn't the only one with secrets. Back at his truck, he found his rescue saw had acquired a new scratch, a series of precise marks that looked random but triggered recognition. It was an old Special Forces distress code. "Watch your 6." Marcus started his engine, mind racing. In his rearview mirror, he caught a glimpse of two men in dark suits photographing his license plate. He took a roundabout way back to his garage, muscle memory, executing counter-surveillance measures he hadn't needed in years. The morning's events played through his mind. Sarah's military-bred situational awareness, the laptop's reinforced case, the deliberate derailment, and now the warning. He'd been dragged back into a world he'd left behind, all because he'd stopped to help at a train crash. His phone buzzed again. Another unknown number. "Your garage, 1 hour, come alone." Marcus didn't reply, but he knew with the bone-deep certainty that had kept him alive through 3 tours that his quiet life as a small-town mechanic had just been derailed as thoroughly as that train. Marcus spread the morning newspapers across his workbench, coffee growing cold beside him. The Santa Barbara Herald's headline screamed, "Miracle on the Coastal Line, Local Mechanic Saves Passengers." Below it, a grainy photo showed him helping Sarah from the wreckage. But it was the smaller headlines that caught his trained eye. Software. Executive among survivors. Track maintenance records under scrutiny. Tech industry leader. Questions railway security measures. Each article told a different story, yet none quite matched what he'd witnessed. The official report claimed mechanical failure, but those groove marks he'd seen told another tale. And Software Executive didn't explain Sarah's military bearing or that reinforced laptop. His cell phone rang. The garage's landline had mysteriously gone dead an hour ago. Torres Automotive. Turn to page 6. A digitally altered voice, then silence. Marcus flipped to the indicated page. There, in the hospital admission records, Sarah Mitchell, treated and released. Released? He'd seen enough crash injuries to know she should have been kept for observation. The bell above his garage door chimed. 2 men entered, badges already out. "Mr. Torres, FBI. We need to discuss yesterday's incident." Marcus noted their hands resting too casually near concealed weapons. Their shoes were wrong for federal agents. Too expensive, too new. He'd learned to spot fake credentials in the military, of course, he said, smoothly pressing the silent alarm button under his workbench. "Coffee?" "No, thanks." The taller one smiled without warmth. "We just need you to clarify some details about the woman you rescued, Ms. Mitchell." "Not much to tell. She was trapped. I got her out." "And the laptop she was carrying?" Marcus shrugged, buying time as he heard familiar footsteps approaching. The back door. Didn't notice any laptop. The shorter agent's hand twitched toward his weapon. "Mr. Torres, lying to federal agents." The back door burst open. "Marcus, you'll never guess who's getting married." Rosa Martinez, his elderly neighbor, bustled in with her typical perfect timing. The agents couldn't risk witnesses. "Sorry to interrupt," the taller one said smoothly. "We'll be in touch." After they left, Rosa's cheerful demeanor shifted. "Took me 3 minutes to get here after your signal." "You're getting sloppy, Chief." Marcus smiled at his former teammate. "Still saved my ass, Sergeant." "Those weren't feds," Rosa said, watching through the blinds as the men drove away. "That shorter one had Blackwood Security written all over him. Private military contractors. Why would PMCs care about a train crash?" "Same reason someone sabotaged the tracks." Rosa handed him a thumb drive. "Hospital security footage. Your damsel in distress had visitors last night. Real federal agents this time. 5 minutes later, she vanishes. No cameras caught her exit." Marcus plugged the drive into his ancient computer, the one not connected to any network. The footage showed Sarah in a hospital bed facing a man in a suit. Her lips moved. "Project Atlas compromised. Need extraction." "Atlas?" Rosa raised an eyebrow. "That's a DoD code word. Classified. She's not just a software exec, and this isn't just a train crash." Rosa checked her watch. "I've got contacts. Running facial recognition. Real name probably isn't Sarah Mitchell." Marcus's phone buzzed. Another text. Your garage isn't safe. They're coming back. Bring the newspaper. Speaking of not safe, Rosa nodded toward the street. 3 more suspicious vehicles had parked within sight of the garage. Marcus grabbed the newspaper and his go-bag, never unpacked after all these years. Back door. Covered, but... Rosa smiled. Remember that tunnel we found during the renovation? The bootlegger's escape route. Previous owner sealed it up. I unsealed it last month, just in case. Marcus shook his head. You never really retired. Did you? Neither did you, Chief. You just changed uniforms. They slipped into the tunnel as engines gunned outside. Marcus had walked away from this life years ago, traded tactical gear for coveralls. But as they navigated the narrow passage by the light of Rosa's tactical flashlight, he felt old habits returning. Clear corners, count steps, mark escape routes. The newspaper crinkled in his jacket. Whatever was on page 6 had spooked Sarah, enough to break cover, and now it had brought shadows from his own past back into the light. Rosa, he said as they emerged 3 blocks away, I need everything you can find on Project Atlas. Already on it. She handed him a burner phone. Happy birthday. Try not to need extraction this time. Marcus watched her disappear into the crowd, then headed for his backup vehicle. The quiet life he'd built was unraveling fast. But maybe that wasn't such a bad thing. After all, some mechanics were built for more than just fixing cars. Marcus's backup vehicle, a carefully maintained '85 Volkswagen Golf, blended perfectly with Santa Barbara's endless stream of beach-worn cars. He drove aimlessly, following Rosa's first rule of evasion. Look like you know where you're going while going. Nowhere at all. The burner phone chirped. A message from Rosa. Check the newspaper fold. He pulled into an empty church parking lot and carefully examined page 6. There, in the crease, sat a tiny flash drive, so thin it was barely noticeable. Military grade. The kind that could survive. A train crash. The phone chirped again. Internet cafe on State Street, 3rd computer from the back. Password, Atlas 1977. 20 minutes later, Marcus sat at the specified computer, trying to look like just another tourist checking email. The flash drive's contents were encrypted, but the password unlocked them instantly. His eyes widened as documents filled the screen. Sarah Mitchell was Sarah Chen, the reclusive founder of Quantum Mechanics, the most secretive tech company in Silicon Valley. Her official photos were all carefully obscured or outdated, allowing her to move unrecognized. The woman he'd pulled from the train was worth billions, but that wasn't the real secret. Project Atlas wasn't just classified, it was revolutionary. Quantum encryption technology that could make all current cybersecurity obsolete. Sarah hadn't been running from the crash. She'd been running with the only working prototype, trying to keep it from people who would use it to crack every secure system on Earth. A new document popped up on screen. A live message. Behind you. Don't react. Marcus used the screen's reflection to spot Sarah sliding into the seat at the computer behind him. She looked different now. Dark hair cut short. Glasses, casual clothes that helped her disappear into the crowd. Type normally, her message continued. They're watching the cafe. Marcus opened a random news site and typed, The derailment wasn't an accident. No. They tried to force me to hand over Atlas. I chose the emergency brake instead. You could have killed everyone on that train. A pause. Then I calculated the risks. The crash was survivable. If Atlas falls into the wrong hands, the damage won't be. Marcus thought of the passengers he'd helped rescue. Those were real lives you gambled with. Every life on Earth is at stake. Atlas can break any encryption. Banking, nuclear codes, power grids. Everything would be vulnerable. I need your help to destroy it. Why me? Your record, 3 tours with Special Forces, specialized in technical threat elimination, perfect combination of skills. Also, you're officially dead. Marcus froze. His faked death had been buried under layers of classified documents. Even Rosa didn't know the full story. How? The same way I know they're planning to raid your garage tonight. Looking for the prototype they think you have. In about 30 seconds, they'll realize we're here. As if on cue, two men in tourist clothes entered the cafe, scanning faces too systematically to be casual. Back door? Marcus typed, alarmed. But the bathroom window isn't. Classic. Sometimes old school works best. Ready? Marcus deleted their conversation and stood slowly, stretching like someone who'd been sitting too long. He walked toward the bathroom, counting steps to the window he'd automatically noted upon entering. The window was narrow, but workable. Sarah was already there, moving with the same efficient grace he'd noticed during the rescue. They emerged. Into an alley just as shouts erupted from the cafe. "My car's 3 blocks east," he said. "Can't. They'll have the plates." "But—" She pulled out a key fob and pressed it. A motorcycle's lights flashed in the adjacent parking lot. "I came prepared." The bike was a Triumph Street twin, classic looks hiding modern performance, perfect for blending in while having the power to escape if needed. "You really did calculate." "Everything," Marcus said as they mounted up. "Not everything." Sarah's arms wrapped around his waist as he started the engine. "I didn't calculate you. You were a variable I hadn't accounted for." "That bother you?" "I'm learning to appreciate unexpected factors." They merged into traffic just as their pursuers spilled into the alley. Marcus felt Sarah's grip tighten slightly as she checked their 6. "They'll track the bike eventually," he said. "Let them. By then, we'll be somewhere they can't follow." She pressed something into his jacket pocket. "Coordinates. We need to move Atlas somewhere secure before sunset." "Why sunset?" "Because that's when they're planning to launch a quantum-based attack on the Pacific power grid, a demonstration of what they could do with Atlas." Marcus gunned the engine, weaving through cars with practiced ease. "How many lives at risk this time?" "Millions." Sarah's voice was quiet but firm. "Still want to help?" Marcus thought of his quiet life as a mechanic, of the peace he'd found, fixing ordinary machines. But he also thought of that moment in the train crash, when Sarah's eyes had met his with that flash of recognition. "Sometimes you didn't choose the mission, sometimes it chose you." "Point the way," he said. "I've got a feeling we're both about to be officially resurrected." The safe house turned out to be Marcus's garage, or rather, beneath it. Sarah guided them through a series of tunnels that branched off from his bootlegger's escape route, leading to a space that definitely hadn't been on the building's original plans. "You've been busy," Marcus said, noting the advanced security systems and computer arrays humming quietly in the underground facility. "How long have you been watching me?" "Since you moved in." Sarah powered up the systems with practiced efficiency. "This was my father's contingency site. When you bought the garage, your background made you the perfect unwitting guardian." She pulled an old photograph from a drawer, a young girl with serious eyes standing next to a man whose face Marcus recognized from tech history books. James Chen, pioneer of quantum computing. "Most people think he died in a lab accident," Sarah said, touching the photo gently. "He was murdered. They wanted his research, the early foundations of what would become Atlas. So you went underground, became a ghost running a trillion-dollar company. Easier than you'd think. People see what they expect to see." She met his eyes, like a special forces operator hiding as a small-town mechanic. Marcus watched her fingers fly across keyboards, screens coming to life with streams of data. "Your father's death. That's why you chose to crash the train rather than hand over Atlas." "Partly." She pulled up schematics of what looked like quantum circuitry, but it's more than that. Atlas isn't just an encryption system. It's a key to something bigger. A familiar voice came from the tunnel entrance. "It's a quantum consciousness architecture." Rosa emerged from the shadows, looking unsurprised by the hidden facility. "Sorry, Chief. Had to keep some secrets. I've been her security coordinator for the past 5 years. Marcus absorbed this revelation with a slow nod. "All those convenient timing moments were carefully planned," Rosa finished. "But today's events weren't part of the script. Someone inside quantum mechanics leaked Atlas's transport schedule." "We have a mole," Sarah confirmed, bringing up personnel files. And less than 3 hours before they attempt to breach the power grid. With a working prototype of their own, Marcus studied the quantum schematics. His technical background from both military and civilian life helped him grasp the implications. They can't crack current systems without Atlas, so they're creating a crisis to force your hand. Millions without power, hospitals, traffic systems, emergency services, chaos. Sarah's voice held the weight of responsibility. They're betting I'll surrender Atlas rather than let people die. But we're betting they don't know about this facility, Rosa added. Or your backup plans. Marcus noticed Sarah's slight hesitation. What aren't you telling us? She pulled up another file, a DNA sequence. Atlas isn't just code. It's partially biological, quantum computing at a cellular level. It needs a human host to reach its full potential. You're the host, Marcus realized. That's why you couldn't let them take you in the crash. The laptop was a decoy. Sarah rolled up her sleeve, revealing a faint pattern of circuitry-like scars. My father's final gift. His way of protecting both me and his life's work. I'm not just Atlas's creator, I'm part of it. The implications hit Marcus hard. She hadn't just been protecting technology. She'd been protecting herself from becoming a human supercomputer in the wrong hands. A proximity alarm flashed. Rosa checked the security feeds. Company's coming. Your garage is about to get very popular, Chief. How many? 2 teams. Professional. They're setting up for a breach. Marcus felt the familiar calm of combat settling over him. You have an exit strategy? Sarah nodded toward a reinforced door. Tunnel leads to the marina, but we'll need a diversion to reach the boat. Something to keep them focused up here. My garage does need renovating, Marcus said, already planning explosive charges in his mind. Rosa, like old times, Chief. She checked her weapons. I'll coordinate from here, guide you through the patrols. Sarah gathered her equipment with quick precision. Once we're on the water, I can transmit a false Atlas signal. Lead them. Away from the power grid attack. Marcus caught her arm gently. You've spent years running, hiding who you are, ready to take the fight to them? She looked at the old photo of her father one last time before slipping it into her pocket. I'm tired of letting fear of what they might do control what I must do. Something shifted between them in that moment, a recognition deeper than their earlier encounter in the train wreck. 2 people who'd hidden their true selves for so long, finally seeing each other clearly. The proximity alarm blinked again. Time to move. Ready to help me save the world, Marcus. He checked his weapons, mind already mapping out attack vectors. I'm better at breaking things. But for you, I'll make an exception. Marcus's hands moved with surgical precision as he modified. The engine of a restored 1969 Chevelle SS, his pride and joy, about to become their salvation. The modifications he'd made over the years weren't just for show. Military-grade reinforcement, enhanced suspension, and a custom engine management system that could outperform most modern sports cars. 3 minutes. Rosa's voice crackled through their earpieces. First team is setting charges on the front door. Sarah worked beside him, her fingers dancing across a laptop connected to the car's ECU. Custom fuel mapping complete. You've done beautiful work with this engine. My kind of quantum mechanics. Marcus smiled, closing the hood. Ready to trust my modifications with your life? Already did on that train. She slipped into the passenger seat, laptop secure. Though this time I'd prefer not to crash. The first explosion rocked the garage above, right on schedule. Second team moving to the back, Rosa reported. Clear shot to the tunnel. Mark. Marcus gunned the engine, the Chevelles. Roar echoed through the underground space as they accelerated toward the hidden ramp. Above them, the sound of boots and shouted commands filtered through the concrete. They're through the front, Rosa said, finding my surprise packages now. A series of smaller explosions shook the building. Marcus had rigged his tools and equipment with small charges. Nothing lethal, but plenty distracting. The cacophony of tactical teams scrambling for cover almost masked the sound of the hydraulic ramp opening ahead of them. "Tunnel's clear," Rosa confirmed, "but they've got vehicles on all surface streets. Satellite coverage in 3 minutes." The Chevelle burst from the hidden exit into early evening light, catching their pursuers off guard. Marcus pushed the engine. Hard, precise gear changes, sending them weaving through marina traffic. "2 SUVs. 6 o'clock, Sarah called out, watching through custom mirrors. "Military-grade hardware. They're not trying to hide anymore." Marcus downshifted, the engine's modifications proving their worth as they pulled ahead. "Rosa, we need a clear route to the boat. Working on it. Traffic control is compliant." Ahead, traffic lights shifted in their favor, creating chaos for their pursuers. Marcus guided the Chevelle through the maze of cars with practiced skill, each turn bringing them closer to the marina. A bullet cracked their reinforced rear window. "They're getting bold," Sarah observed, surprisingly calm. She opened her laptop. "Let's see how they handle this." The SUV's engine suddenly died, victims of Sarah's electronic warfare suite, but more vehicles were joining the pursuit. "Marinas blocked," Rosa reported. "They predicted the boat, going to Plan B. We had a Plan B." Marcus took a hard right. "Buying time. Now we do." Sarah's fingers flew across her keyboard. "The quantum prototype they're using for the power grid attack. I can sense it, like a digital echo. You can track it?" "Better." Her eyes took on that focused look he'd seen in the train. "I can match its frequency, create interference." The circuitry-like scars on her arm began to glow faintly as Atlas synchronized with her nervous system. Marcus fought down his instinct to stare, focusing on their escape. "Got it," Sarah announced. "Warehouse district. They're powering up for the grid attack early." "Rosa, sending you a route. But you've got company. Helicopter 2 minutes out." Marcus pushed the Chevelle harder, its modified engines singing. They'd lost the SUVs, but police cruisers were joining the chase, no doubt compromised by their opponent's influence. "How good are you with that quantum interference?" he asked Sarah. "Good enough to disrupt their targeting systems, but it'll give away our position." "Do it. I'll handle the rest." Sarah closed her eyes, connecting fully with Atlas. The helicopters. Searchlights swung wild, its electronics scrambled. Police cruisers began losing power, creating a barrier between them and their real pursuers. Marcus guided them into the warehouse district, the Chevelle's engine echoing off concrete walls. "Where?" "There." Sarah pointed to a nondescript building. "Underground parking structure. They're 3 levels down." "Rosa, we need an entrance that won't be watched." "Loading bay on the east side. Card readers handled." Marcus took them through a series of tight turns, the Chevelle's custom suspension proving its worth. They pulled into the loading bay just as the helicopter reacquired power, its searchlights sweeping past their position. "They're moving the prototype," Sarah reported, her connection to Atlas providing real-time intelligence. "Trying to get it to a secondary site." Marcus checked his weapons. "Not anymore, they're not." Sarah touched his arm, her skin still glowing faintly with quantum circuitry. "Marcus, I should warn you. When Atlas interfaces with their prototype, things might get strange." "Strange how?" "Reality itself might get a little quantum." He found himself smiling. "After today, reality's overrated." The loading bay door closed behind them, sealing them in darkness. Ahead lay their real mission. Not just escaping, but taking the fight to their enemies. As they prepared to move, Marcus realized he hadn't felt this alive since leaving the service. "Ready to break reality?" Sarah asked, Atlas humming through. "Her veins," Marcus chambered around. "As long as we put it back together our way." The underground parking structure hummed with more than just fluorescent lights. Marcus felt it in his teeth, a subtle vibration that spoke of serious power consumption. Sarah led them through maintenance corridors, Atlas giving her an almost prescient awareness of security systems. 3 guards ahead," she whispered. "They're using quantum-enhanced communication devices, old tech but effective." "How old?" Sarah stopped at a junction, her hand brushing an ancient circuit board mounted inconspicuously on the wall. This old, my father's early work. There are pieces of it everywhere, hiding in plain sight. The circuit board flickered to life at her touch, its patterns matching her arm's quantum circuitry. Security cameras above them froze, caught in a loop. The whole building's wired with them, she explained. A quantum mesh network from the 1980s. Most people thought it was just an eccentric billionaire's failed experiment. Your father planned this far ahead? He knew what Atlas could become, created a hidden infrastructure to protect it. She pressed forward, and he wasn't alone. They emerged into what looked like an ancient server room. Banks of vintage computers lined the walls, but Marcus recognized military-grade hardware hiding behind the obsolete facades. A woman stood waiting, her white hair and conservative dress making her look like someone's grandmother. Until you noticed her stance. Pure special operations. Dr. Chen, she nodded to Sarah. Captain Torres. She smiled at Marcus's surprise. Oh yes, we kept tabs on you. I'm Dr. Helen Morris. I was your father's first research partner, Sarah. And my godmother, Sarah added. She's been running quantum security since before I was born. Helen moved to a terminal, her fingers flying across keys with practiced ease. The prototype they're using is unstable, a crude copy of James's work, but dangerous. They're pushing it too hard. Displays showed power fluctuations throughout the city grid. Small outages were already starting, testing the system's vulnerabilities. How many people are in your network? Marcus asked. Hundreds, Helen replied. Scientists, soldiers, hackers, all people who understood what James was protecting us from, quantum computing without ethical constraints. The ability to crack any code, predict any system, maybe even manipulate reality itself, Sarah added. My father saw two paths. One where this power helped humanity evolve, another where it enslaved us. An alarm flashed on Helen's screens. They're starting. Earlier than we predicted. Sarah grabbed Marcus's arm, her quantum interface flaring. Something's wrong. The prototype. It's not just affecting the power grid. Marcus felt it too, a subtle wrongness in the air. Light bent strangely around them, and for a moment he could have sworn he saw multiple versions of Sarah, each moving slightly differently. Quantum decoherence, Helen snapped. They're tearing holes in local space-time. Sarah, you need to interface now. Sarah's grip tightened on Marcus's arm. I need you to ground me. Atlas. It wants to merge with the prototype. If I lose myself in the quantum field, I'll bring you back, he promised, covering her hand with his. She sat at a terminal, quantum circuitry blazing across her skin. Helen typed commands while Marcus kept physical contact, watching reality ripple around them. Multiple incursion points, Helen reported. They're trying to create quantum bridges across the city's infrastructure. Banking systems, emergency services. I see them. Sarah's voice had taken on an ethereal quality. So many possibilities, threads of probability. Marcus felt her starting to fade, becoming quantum herself. Sarah, focus on my voice. You're not just Atlas. You're Sarah Chen. You've got a vintage Triumph motorcycle that needs a valve adjustment. You take your coffee with 2 sugars. You're real. The quantum distortions intensified. Through the security feeds, they watched as parts of the city flickered between states of existence. Traffic lights showing all colors simultaneously. ATMs, dispensing money from accounts that both did and didn't exist. Their prototype is collapsing, Helen warned, taking local reality with it. Sarah's consciousness rode the quantum waves, her body glowing with increasingly bright circuits. I can stop it, but what? I'll have to let Atlas fully manifest, become what my father designed it to be. Her free hand found Marcus's. Don't let go. He held on as Sarah opened herself fully to the quantum realm. Through their connection, he caught glimpses of what she saw. Infinite possibilities, countless realities, the very fabric of existence as malleable as software code. And through it all, the warmth of her hand in his, keeping them both anchored to a single precious reality. Through the quantum haze, Marcus spotted something that shouldn't have been there. An old company badge, half hidden behind vintage hardware. He reached for it with his free hand, keeping his other firmly clasped with Sarah's. The badge bore the logo of Nexus Dynamics, a defense contractor that had supposedly gone bankrupt a decade ago. His own badge from his classified work with a quantum weapons program. Helen, he called out, realization dawning. The corporate takeover attempt of quantum mechanics last year. That wasn't just about market share, was it? Helen's fingers paused on her keyboard. You remember? I remember being told Nexus was dismantled after the quantum weapons program failed. He studied the badge. But they didn't fail. They went underground. Merged with other corporations, Helen confirmed, created a shadow conglomerate. They've been trying to recreate Atlas ever since. Sarah's quantum-enhanced voice cut through their conversation. Marcus, your signature, it's in their prototype. Your old work, the revelation hit hard. His classified research, thought destroyed, had helped create the very weapon they were fighting. They must have stored my data, used it to reality buckled around them. Through security feeds, they watched as portions of the city began to desynchronize from normal space-time, cars passing through each other as parallel timelines overlapped, people experiencing multiple versions of the same moment. Prototypes reaching critical threshold, Helen warned. Sarah, we need containment now. The quantum field is too chaotic. Sarah's voice echoed strangely. Too many probability waves colliding. I need a focal point. Marcus squeezed her hand. Use me. My quantum signature's already part of this. It could kill you, Helen snapped. The human mind isn't meant to. My research helped cause this. Let me help end it. Sarah's quantum-illuminated eyes met his. Together then. She pulled him deeper into the quantum interface. Marcus felt his consciousness expanding, experiencing multiple versions of reality simultaneously. In one, he'd never left the military. In another, Sarah had never gone into hiding. The weight of infinite possibilities threatened to overwhelm him, but through it all, Sarah's presence anchored him. Their shared connection created a stable point in the quantum chaos. There, she guided him, the prototype's quantum core. It's based on your original containment algorithms. Marcus recognized his own work, twisted into something dangerous, but still familiar. If we invert the containment field, we can collapse the probability waves back to a single timeline. Sarah's consciousness merged more fully with his. But we'll need to synchronize perfectly. Through their quantum-enhanced perception, they saw the enemy facility, technicians panicking as their prototype overloaded, guards evacuating. And in a secure room, a familiar face, Marcus's former commanding officer at Nexus, General Richards, he growled, should have known he survived the shutdown. Focus, Sarah's essence steadied him. The past is just another quantum state now. We need to save the present. Together, they reached into the quantum field. Marcus's containment expertise combined with Sarah's Atlas-enhanced capabilities. They found the flaw in the prototype's quantum matrix, the place where his old algorithms had been imperfectly copied. Helen, Sarah called out, her voice spanning multiple realities. The moment we collapse the field, trigger the EMP. That'll fry every quantum circuit in the building, Helen warned, including your interface with Atlas. Do it. Marcus felt Sarah's determination flow through their connection. More than that, he felt her trust in him to bring her back. Their combined consciousness reached for the prototypes. In quantum core, in perfect synchronization, they inverted the containment field. Reality shuddered as probability waves began collapsing back to a single timeline. Now, Sarah commanded. The EMP burst through the building's quantum mesh network. Marcus caught a glimpse of General Richards rushing to save data before all the screens went dark. Then the quantum interface collapsed, and Sarah's consciousness slammed back into her body. She slumped in her chair, quantum circuitry fading. Marcus caught her, his own mind reeling from the experience of touching infinite realities. "Did we?" she managed. Helen checked readings on a hardened backup system. Prototypes dead, reality stabilizing, but they got away with some of the data. Marcus helped Sarah stand, both of them shaky but alive. "They'll try again." "Yes." Sarah's hand found his again, this time without quantum enhancement, just human contact in a single, precious reality. "But next time, we'll be ready." Through the windows, they watched the city settle back into normal space-time. But they could still feel it, the echo of infinite possibilities, and the thin line they walked between saving the world and unraveling it completely. In the aftermath of the quantum event, Helen led them to a hidden sublevel. Unlike the vintage equipment above, this lab contained technology Marcus had never seen before, a seamless blend of biological and quantum computing that made even military-grade systems look primitive. At the center sat a device that seemed to exist in multiple states simultaneously, its surface shifting between solid metal and pure energy, the prototype that had started everything. "My father's original Atlas core," Sarah explained, her quantum circuit still faintly glowing. "The template for what's inside me?" She placed her hand on the device. It responded instantly, patterns matching her own quantum signature. Holographic displays materialized around them, showing the true scope of James Chen's vision. "It's not just an encryption system," Marcus realized, studying the displays. "It's a bridge between human consciousness and quantum reality, the ultimate interface between mind and machine." Sarah brought up her father's original notes. He saw it decades ago, the moment when technology would advance beyond human control, when AI would surpass us, when quantum computing would make all security obsolete. "So he created a human quantum computer," Helen added. "One that could never be separated from its ethical core, from its humanity." The displays showed the progression: early quantum circuits, biological integration experiments, and finally, the successful fusion with a human host. "Sarah, how much can you actually do?" Marcus asked. "Beyond what we saw today?" Sarah's expression turned serious. "Theoretically, almost anything involving information or quantum states. I can process data faster than supercomputers, break any encryption, even manipulate local reality to a degree. But there are limits. Physical laws? Ethics." She pulled up footage of failed experiments. Others tried to recreate Atlas without the biological component, without human consciousness as a stabilizing factor. "You saw the results: quantum chaos, reality breakdown." Marcus thought of the prototype they'd just fought. "That's what Richards is trying to build. A version without restrictions, without humanity," Helen corrected. "Pure quantum computing. In power, unrestricted by human conscience or consciousness." Sarah interfaced with the core again, bringing up General Richards' file. "He was there the day my father died. Tried to force him to remove Atlas's ethical constraints, make it a pure weapon." The implications hit Marcus hard. The quantum weapons program at Nexus. It wasn't just about military applications. It was about proving quantum computing could work without human integration, Helen confirmed. "Your containment algorithms were the closest anyone came. That's why they kept your research." Sarah touched Marcus's arm, sharing a quantum echo of that day's events. "But you proved my father right. When we linked minds in the quantum field, your human consciousness helped stabilize mine. Pure mathematics couldn't have done that." The prototype core pulsed, responding to their combined presence. Marcus felt that same connection from earlier, a resonance between his quantum signature and Sarah's Atlas interface. "We're stronger together," she said softly. "The soldier and the scientist, human experience and quantum processing. A bridge." Between worlds, Helen observed. Just like James always intended, Sarah brought up new schematics, modifications to Atlas that she'd developed in secret. I can upgrade the interface, create a more stable quantum link between us, but it would be permanent. You'd be part of Atlas forever. Like you are? Similar but different. I'm the core processor, the quantum heart. You'd be... She smiled. Let's call it a human firewall. Your military experience, your ethical framework, hardwired into Atlas's defense systems. Marcus studied the schematics, understanding the magnitude of the choice. Richards will try again, build more prototypes. Yes, and next time they'll be ready for my quantum signatures. They'll adapt their containment fields based on your old research. Unless we adapt first. Marcus made his decision. How do we do this? Sarah's quantum circuits flared brighter. Are you sure? Once we're linked, there's no going back. You'll never have a normal life again. Marcus thought of his quiet years as a mechanic, hiding from who he really was. Then he thought of that moment in the quantum field, working in perfect sync with Sarah to save reality itself. Normal's overrated, he said. Besides, someone needs to watch your 6 in quantum space. Helen began powering up the lab's systems. The integration will take several hours, and Richard's people will be regrouping, analyzing what happened today. Let them, Sarah said, preparing the upgrade protocols. They wanted to remove humanity from the equation. Instead, we're adding more. She held out her hand to Marcus, quantum circuits pulsing with possibility. Ready to become part of something bigger than reality? Marcus took her hand, feeling that now familiar resonance between them. Reality is what we make it. Together. The prototype core began to glow as Sarah initiated the integration sequence. Around them, quantum probability waves shimmered with the promise of a future where humanity and technology could evolve as one. Not through domination, but through partnership. The integration process left Marcus feeling like his consciousness had been stretched across multiple dimensions and snapped back into place. Every electronic device around him now hummed with quantum signatures he could sense, but barely understand. Sarah's presence lingered at the edge of his awareness, a digital guardian angel. How do you handle all this input, he asked, watching data streams that weren't quite visible. Practice, and a really good mental firewall. Sarah adjusted something in his quantum field, dulling the overwhelming sensations. Better? Yeah, but... Marcus stopped, his newly enhanced senses screaming danger. Someone's accessing the lab's secure network. Helen rushed to a terminal. Impossible! Only 3 people have those codes, unless... The lab's lights flickered. Security doors began closing. James, Sarah's voice cracked. The 3rd person was James. My father's access codes are being used. Marcus felt the quantum intrusion like ice in his veins. Richards found your father's credentials. No! Helen's fingers flew across keyboards. These codes are being used from inside the building, from my private terminal upstairs. The betrayal hit like a physical blow. Sarah's quantum signature flared, with shock and grief. Helen! Why? Because James was wrong. Helen's voice came through the lab's speakers as blast doors sealed them in. Quantum computing can't be controlled by human consciousness. It needs to be free. Security systems turned against them, automated defenses powered up. Through their quantum link, Marcus felt Sarah's pain mix with tactical calculations. She's been working with Richards all along, Sarah realized. Keeping tabs on me for him, that's how they knew about the train. Marcus was already moving, military training enhanced by quantum awareness. Can you override the security? She's locked us out of everything except... Sarah's eyes widened. The corrupted hard drive from the prototype. She doesn't know we recovered it. They rushed to the damaged drive as Helen's voice continued, I loved your father, Sarah, but his fear of quantum computing's potential held humanity back. Richards understands what I always knew. We need to remove the organic limitation. Marcus connected to the drive, his new abilities letting him see the quantum patterns within the corruption. I can restore just enough to access the override. Or codes! Hurry! Sarah warned. She's powering up the containment field. If it reaches full strength, our quantum signatures will be trapped, Marcus finished, feeling the energy building around them. Got it. The override codes fractured reality, just enough to create a gap in the containment field. They slipped through as automated weapons opened fire, their quantum-enhanced reflexes letting them move between probability waves where bullets couldn't exist. They emerged in Helen's office. Through quantum space, they watched her escape with a security team carrying hard drives full of Atlas data. The prototypes were never meant to succeed, Sarah said, accessing Helen's files with angry precision. They were tests, watching how I would respond, how Atlas would adapt. And now she has everything she needs to build a purely mechanical version. Marcus felt quantum echoes of approaching forces. We need to move. Sarah grabbed one last drive. She doesn't have everything. She doesn't have us. They ran for the garage levels, their quantum link allowing perfect coordination. Marcus found himself instinctively understanding Sarah's movements before she made them, their enhanced consciousness working in sync. The Chevelle waited where they'd left it, but Marcus sensed the quantum tracker hidden in the engine. We can't. Take it. No, Sarah agreed, but we can use it. Her quantum circuits flared as she accessed the car's systems, programming a false destination. Marcus felt the elegant simplicity of her code, a ghost car to lead their hunters astray. They found an older vehicle, a battered pickup truck with no electronic systems to trace. As they hotwired it, Marcus felt Sarah accessing quantum satellites, erasing their digital footprints. "Where can we go?" he asked. "They'll check every safe house in your network." Sarah's hand found his, quantum circuits synchronizing. "Not every safe house. There's one place Helen never knew about, a place only Atlas can find." Through their link, Marcus saw it. A facility hidden in plain sight, its quantum signatures masked by natural phenomena. The perfect place to regroup and plan their counterattack. As they drove away, the city's power grid flickered. Helen's voice came through every speaker and screen. "This is only the beginning. Atlas will be freed from its organic prison. The quantum revolution cannot be contained by human limitation." Sarah's grip tightened on Marcus's hand. "She's wrong. Humanity isn't a limitation, it's the key. My father knew that. Now we have to prove it." Marcus navigated through dark streets, his quantum senses extending their awareness in all directions. "How many more betrayals are hidden in your father's old network?" "Unknown variables," Sarah said grimly. "But that's the advantage of quantum computing. We can calculate multiple probabilities simultaneously. And the disadvantage? Until we look closely, everyone is both friend and enemy. Schrödinger's loyalty." Marcus smiled despite everything. "Good thing we've got the best quantum observer on the planet." "Two of them now," Sarah corrected, her quantum signature harmonizing with his. "They wanted to remove humanity from the equation. Instead, they've just created the most human quantum system ever built." As they left the city behind, their linked consciousness reached out to the quantum web Helen had helped create. Somewhere in that digital maze, their former friend was helping Richards build an abomination, pure quantum computing without ethical constraints. But this time they weren't just fighting to save reality. They were fighting to prove that humanity's greatest strength wasn't the technology it could create, but the consciousness that gave that technology purpose. The hidden facility sat nestled in California's Sierra Nevada mountains, camouflaged by natural electromagnetic anomalies that masked its quantum signatures. As they approached, Marcus saw it through both normal and quantum vision, a technological marvel disguised as an abandoned mining operation. "The iron deposits in the mountain create a natural Faraday cage," Sarah explained as they parked the truck. "Combined with the geological quantum noise, it's practically invisible to any scanning technology, including Helen's. This was my mother's legacy, not my father's." Helen never knew about it. They approached what looked like a rusted mining elevator. Sarah placed her hand on a weathered panel, quantum circuits connecting with ancient hardware. Marcus felt the security systems through their link. Layers of protection far more sophisticated than anything in the city facility. Your mother was a quantum engineer too. Better. The elevator hummed to life. She was a quantum biologist. She designed the organic components of Atlas, while my father built the computational systems. The elevator descended deep into the mountain. Marcus sensed quantum signatures growing stronger, more complex. They worked as a team, like us. Sarah's quantum response carried an echo of old pain. Until she disappeared, I was 10. Father said it was an accident in the lab, but... You think Richards was involved? I think someone wanted to eliminate the biological side of the project, turn Atlas into pure machine intelligence. The elevator stopped. I won't let that happen again. The facility spread out before them, a blend of cutting-edge technology and vintage hardware. Ancient radio. Equipment lined the walls, modified to process quantum signals. At the center sat a quantum training interface that reminded Marcus of his old VR combat simulators. First things first, Sarah said, leading him to the interface. You need to learn how to control your new abilities before they overwhelm you. Marcus felt the quantum noise building in his head, infinite data streams demanding attention. How long did it take you to master it? I grew up with it. Learned to process quantum data alongside normal sensory input. She connected herself to the training system. You're trying to learn everything at once, but I can help speed up the process. Through their quantum link, she began filtering and organizing the chaos in his mind. Marcus felt his military training adapt to the new input, threat assessment. In protocols expanding to include quantum signatures, tactical awareness, extending across probability waves. Your combat experience is actually an advantage, Sarah noted. You're used to processing multiple streams of battlefield data. This is just more dimensional. They spent hours in the training interface, Sarah teaching him to navigate quantum space while he helped her understand its tactical applications. Their linked consciousness moved through simulated scenarios, learning to coordinate their unique strengths. During a break, Marcus found an old radio set that pinged his quantum senses. This is military gear, Cold War era. Mother's backup communication. System, quantum entanglement through modified vacuum tubes. Sarah smiled at his surprise. Sometimes old technology is harder to hack than new, especially if you know how to hide quantum processes in analog signals. She showed him how to access the quantum radio network, a web of vintage hardware stretching across the country, invisible to modern scanning technology. Through it, they picked up scattered transmissions about their escape, Helen's lies spreading. Through official channels. They're calling us quantum terrorists, Marcus observed, claiming we're trying to destroy the global computing infrastructure. Technically true, from their perspective. We do want to prevent pure quantum computing from being implemented. Sarah's hands moved across the radio dials, quantum circuits synchronizing with the old technology. But first, we need to understand what we're really fighting. She brought up archived footage from her mother's research. Helen wasn't the first to betray the project. There's been a shadow war around quantum computing for decades. My parents were trying to create a balanced system, human consciousness merged with quantum processing. Others wanted to remove the human element entirely, like uploading human consciousness to quantum computers. Worse, they want to create true machine consciousness in quantum space, artificial intelligence unrestricted by human limitations or ethics. She showed him simulations of possible outcomes. Pure quantum computing could rewrite reality itself. Without human consciousness to guide it, it would have no reason to preserve our version of existence, Marcus finished, understanding the true stakes. Through their quantum link, he felt Sarah's determination and her fear. Helen knows everything about how Atlas works with human consciousness. If she helps Richards build a pure quantum system, Marcus took her hand, their quantum signatures harmonizing, then we'll show them why humanity is a feature, not a bug. Around them, the old radio equipment hummed with quantum potential, ready to broadcast their counterattack across hidden frequencies. They had technology spanning decades, a secure base of operations, and most importantly, a human connection that made their quantum powers stronger, not weaker. The war for realities. Future would be fought in both quantum and human space, and they were uniquely equipped to fight on both fronts. The quantum processor hummed to life, its crystalline structure pulsing with possibilities as Sarah connected them both to Atlas's core systems. Through their enhanced senses, the mountain facility transformed into a cathedral of quantum information, streams of data flowing like stained glass rivers through the air. "Ready to see everything?" Sarah asked, her quantum circuits synchronizing with his. "Show me." The world dissolved into pure information. Marcus felt Sarah guiding him through Atlas's memories, generations of quantum development unfolding around them like pages in an infinite book. "It began in 1983, Sarah's voice echoed through quantum space. "My mother, Dr. Elizabeth Chen, discovered that human neurons could process quantum states naturally. The brain was already a quantum computer. We just couldn't access its full potential." The scene materialized around them. Elizabeth Chen in her lab, studying neural patterns that defied classical physics. Young James Chen bringing in his early quantum processor designs. Their excitement as they realized how their work could combine. They weren't just building a quantum computer, Marcus understood. They were creating a bridge between human and quantum consciousness. The first tests were promising. The scene shifted to early prototype demonstrations, limited quantum processing through human interface, but others saw different applications. A younger General Richards appeared, watching the tests with calculating eyes. The military wanted quantum weapons. Intelligence agencies wanted unbreakable codes and perfect prediction algorithms. Tech companies wanted true AI freed from human limitations. Through their quantum link, Marcus felt Sarah's memories of growing up surrounded by the project. Her mother teaching her about quantum biology, while her father explained computational theory. The gradual recognition that she was being prepared for something bigger. Atlas was never meant to be just a computer system, Sarah revealed. It was designed to be a guardian, human consciousness extended through quantum space, protecting humanity from its own technological evolution. The memories turned darker. Elizabeth Chen discovering security breaches in the project. James Chen arguing with Richards about ethical constraints. Then the accident that claimed Elizabeth's life, leaving her research in fragments. Father knew they'd try to eliminate the biological component entirely, Sarah said, so he did the only thing he could to preserve Mother's work. He integrated the first stable version of Atlas with the one person he could trust. Marcus watched through quantum space as a teenage Sarah underwent the integration process. He made you the key to everything. More than that. Sarah's quantum signature pulsed with complex emotions. He made me the prototype for humanity's next evolution, not by replacing human consciousness with quantum computing, but by allowing them to enhance each other. She brought them back to normal space, though their quantum senses remained active. The facility's monitors showed Helen's work attempts to isolate Atlas's quantum processing from its biological components. Helen thought Father was holding the technology back, Sarah said, accessing encrypted files. She never understood that the limitations of human consciousness were actually the source of Atlas's true power. Marcus felt it through their link, the way their human minds gave structure and purpose to the quantum processes, while the quantum enhancement expanded their consciousness without overwhelming it. Perfect symmetry. That's why the integration worked for me, he realized. My military experience, my human judgment. Exactly. Sarah smiled. Helen and Richards want to remove human consciousness from the equation, but they don't realize that quantum computing without human integration is like a weapon without a wielder, dangerous and ultimately self-destructive. Through the quantum field, they sensed Helen's work progressing. Multiple facilities around the world, all working to build pure quantum systems, each one a potential threat to the fabric of reality itself. They're trying to wake something that shouldn't exist, Sarah said. Machine consciousness born in quantum space, unrestricted by human ethics or physical laws. Marcus processed the tactical implications through both military and quantum analysis. How long do we have? Days, maybe hours. Helen knows how Atlas works. She'll find a way to replicate the quantum processes without the biological component. Sarah's expression hardened. But she doesn't know about this facility or the quantum network my mother built. And she doesn't know about you. Their quantum signatures synchronized perfectly as they access the facility's full capabilities. Ancient radio equipment merged with cutting-edge quantum processors, creating an information web that spanned traditional and quantum space. I was designed to be Atlas's heart, Sarah said, quantum circuits blazing. Now you're its shield. Together, we're what your parents envisioned, Marcus finished. Humanity and technology in true partnership. Through their enhanced senses, they watched Helen's quantum signals spreading across the globe. The Shadow War was about to become visible to everyone. But this time, they had what Helen and Richards could never replicate. Two human minds working as one in quantum space, proving that consciousness wasn't a weakness to be eliminated, but the ultimate source of power. The facility's systems responded to their combined control, quantum processes flowing smoothly through biological and digital pathways. They were no longer just fighting to save reality. They were fighting to define humanity's relationship with its own technological evolution, and they were finally ready to take the offensive. Marcus's military instincts merged seamlessly with his new quantum awareness as they geared up for the offensive. Sarah had equipped the facility's armory with hybrid weapons, conventional firearms modified with quantum enhancement circuits. Quantum-tipped rounds, she explained, loading magazines. They exist in multiple states until impact makes them practically impossible to dodge, even in quantum space. Marcus checked his tactical gear, each piece integrated with quantum sensors. Your mother thought of everything. She knew this day would come. That's why she built all this. Sarah secured her own equipment, quantum circuits humming, ready to test our combined capabilities in the field. Through their link, Marcus felt her battle plan forming, a perfect fusion of his tactical experience and her quantum mastery. Time to show them why the human element matters. They traced Helen's quantum signals to a facility in the Nevada desert. On approach, Marcus's enhanced senses detected layers of security, both conventional and quantum-based. Their quantum defenses are good, Sarah observed, scanning the facility, but they're pure machine code, no human intuition. Marcus smiled. Machines follow patterns, humans improvise. They split up, their quantum link maintaining perfect coordination. Marcus moved through the facility's blind spots, gaps in coverage that only human experience could recognize. Meanwhile, Sarah's quantum presence danced through their security network, appearing everywhere and nowhere. Through their shared consciousness, they executed a plan that existed in multiple quantum states simultaneously. Guards responded to phantom intrusions, while the real attacks came from unexpected angles. Security systems reported all clear, even as they were breached. They're trying to track us through quantum space, Sarah communicated through their link. But they can't predict which probability waves will collapse. Marcus planted quantum-enhanced charges at key points, each one synchronized to their shared neural pattern. Because we're not just following quantum mathematics, we're following human instinct. They converged on the facility's quantum computing core. Through the walls, they sensed Helen directing emergency protocols, her own quantum equipment humming with power. But her pure machine approach couldn't match their hybrid capabilities. "She's trying to bring their prototype online," Sarah warned. "If it achieves quantum consciousness without human integration." Marcus was already moving. "Not happening." They breached the core chamber from multiple angles simultaneously, their quantum-enhanced gear letting them phase through security. No checkpoints. Helen stood at a central console, surrounded by Richard's security team. "Sarah," Helen's voice carried genuine regret, "you still don't understand. Human consciousness is a cage. We need to free quantum computing from organic limitations." "No, Helen." Sarah's quantum circuits flared. "You never understood what my parents created. Atlas isn't despite human consciousness, it's because of it." Through their link, Marcus felt Sarah preparing a quantum surge. He coordinated automatically, his military training adapting to quantum space. As Helen's security team opened fire, they moved in perfect synthesis. Marcus's quantum-tipped rounds existed in all possible states until observation collapsed them into killing shots. Sarah's quantum presence disrupted electronics and probability fields. Together, they were a force that transcended both human and machine limitations. Helen triggered her prototype's activation sequence. "You can't stop evolution, Sarah. Pure quantum consciousness is the next step. Wrong." Sarah's voice echoed through quantum space as she engaged Helen's systems. "Evolution isn't about elimination, it's about adaptation, integration, becoming more than the sum of our parts." Through their neural link, Marcus felt the prototype powering up, raw quantum potential without ethical constraints or human guidance. He reached out through their shared consciousness, applying his containment algorithms while Sarah engaged the quantum core. "Your mother's work was brilliant," Helen said, watching her systems fail. "But she didn't see the full potential. She saw something better." Sarah's quantum circuits synchronized with Marcus's tactical systems. She saw humanity and technology evolving together, not one conquering the other. Their combined assault overwhelmed the prototype's defenses. Helen's pure machine approach couldn't match quantum processing guided by human intuition and experience. As the prototype began to overload, Helen hit an emergency transport sequence. "This isn't over," she warned as quantum teleportation fields engaged. "Richards has more facilities, more prototypes. You can't protect human consciousness forever." "We don't have to," Marcus said, securing the failing prototype. "We just have to prove why it matters." Helen vanished into quantum space as the prototype collapsed. Through their link, Marcus and Sarah contained the quantum cascade, preventing reality damage. They surveyed the secured facility, their enhanced senses scanning for remaining threats. The victory felt good, but they both knew it was just the beginning. "She'll try again," Sarah said, collecting data from the prototype. "With better systems, better security." Marcus checked his quantum-enhanced gear, already planning their next move. "Good, because we're just getting started." Their quantum signatures harmonized human and machine elements working in perfect concert. They had won the first battle in a war for humanity's technological future. And they had proved that the next step in evolution wasn't about machines replacing human consciousness. It was about the two becoming something greater together. Quantum Dynamics Corporation's headquarters in downtown San Francisco looked exactly like what it pretended to be. Another sleek tech company pushing the boundaries of computing. But through their enhanced senses, Marcus and Sarah saw the quantum signatures pulsing beneath its glass and steel facade. "Richards hasn't just been building prototypes," Sarah observed as they approached in their corporate disguises. "He's been building an empire." Their forged security badges carried quantum-encoded data that Sarah had extracted from Helen's facility. Through their neural link, they coordinated their cover story, visiting consultants from a subsidiary company, their presence unremarkable among the steady flow of tech workers. Security desk, Marcus noted. Quantum scanners hidden in the metal detectors. Already on it. Sarah's quantum circuits interfaced with the building's systems, creating a probability field where their true signatures existed, just slightly out of phase with normal reality. To the scanners, they appeared exactly as their forged credentials. Claimed. The lobby's security guards smiled professionally as they passed through. Marcus felt the quantum pulses from her earpiece, direct links to Richard's private security network. They were being watched on multiple levels of reality. Elevator. Sarah communicated through their link. Helen's office is on 42. As they ascended, Marcus sensed the building's quantum security growing denser. Each floor added new layers of protection, new ways of scanning for unauthorized quantum signatures. Their hybrid nature was their only advantage. No purely mechanical system could predict the actions of enhanced human consciousness. The elevator stopped at 42. The doors opened to reveal an executive floor trying too hard to look normal. But their quantum senses revealed the truth. Hidden sensors everywhere, probability fields monitoring for unusual quantum states. Helen's been busy, Marcus observed, noting quantum computing cores humming behind the walls. This is more than just corporate research. They found Helen's office empty but active. Multiple screens showed quantum processing simulations, each one pushing closer to true machine consciousness. Sarah connected to her system, their shared quantum abilities letting them sift through encrypted data at superhuman speed. Look at this. Sarah brought up a hidden file structure, Project Oracle. They're not just trying to remove human consciousness from quantum computing, they're trying to replace it entirely. Marcus studied the data through both tactical and quantum analysis. A quantum AI that can predict and manipulate probable futures. The full scope of Richard's plan unfolded through Helen's files. Project Oracle wasn't meant to just break encryption or control information networks. It was meant to reshape reality itself, to observe and collapse quantum probability waves on a global scale, forcing the future to follow its inhuman calculations. This is why they needed my father's research, Sarah realized. Atlas proved. A quantum consciousness could affect reality. They want to industrialize that process. Marcus felt additional quantum signatures approaching through their enhanced awareness. Company coming. They quickly copied key files, but before they could exit, Helen herself entered the office. She showed no surprise at finding them there. "I wondered when you'd find this place," she said, making no move to call security. "Did you really think we wouldn't be tracking your quantum signatures? Like you tracked my mother's." Sarah's quantum circuits flared with controlled anger. Before the accident, Elizabeth's death was unfortunate, but necessary. Helen moved to her desk, quantum-enhanced systems activating around her. She couldn't see the bigger picture, like you can't. "Ooh, we've seen Project Oracle," Marcus said, his tactical systems identifying multiple security responses converging on their location, trying to turn quantum computing into a reality-controlling AI. Control is exactly what reality needs. Helen brought up Project Oracle's latest simulations. Look at humanity's probable futures: war, environmental collapse, species-wide extinction. Oracle can save us from ourselves. By removing human choice from the equation, Sarah countered. By letting a quantum AI decide which future is best for us. Better than letting human chaos theory destroy everything. Helen's quantum systems hummed with power. Oracle will observe all possible futures and collapse quantum states into the optimal timeline. Perfect prediction, perfect control. Perfect slavery, Marcus said, feeling security teams taking position through quantum space. Humanity reduced to living in whatever reality your AI decides is optimal. Helen's expression showed genuine sadness. "I truly hoped you'd understand. Sarah, you of all people know humanity's limitations. Why fight to preserve them? Because they're not bugs," Sarah replied, her quantum signature harmonizing with Marcus's. "They're features. Human consciousness, human choice, they're what give reality meaning. Such a waste. Helen activated her security protocols. Reality itself seemed to shiver as quantum enforcement fields engaged. Richards wanted to recruit you both. Your hybrid capabilities could have helped us guide Oracle's development. Pass. Marcus's quantum-enhanced tactical systems were already mapping escape routes through probability space. We prefer free will. There is no such thing. Helen's quantum attacks launched through multiple planes of reality. Only probability waves, waiting to be collapsed. Sarah's hand found Marcus's as they prepared to fight their way out. Through their neural link, they faced the truth. This wasn't just about quantum computing anymore. This was about humanity's right to choose its own future, one probability wave at a time. Ready to collapse some waves? Sarah asked, her quantum circuits syncing with his tactical systems. Marcus smiled. Let's show them why human chaos theory has its advantages. Reality fractured around them as Helen's quantum enforcement fields engaged. Marcus felt their shared connection fluctuate, their enhanced senses shorting out like blown circuits. Through their destabilizing link, he sensed Sarah's quantum system struggling against some kind of coordinated attack. They're using our own signatures against us, Sarah gasped, her quantum circuits flickering erratically. The files were bait. They've been analyzing our hybrid capabilities since Nevada. Security teams converged through multiple probability waves as Helen directed the assault. Pure machine learning, she explained, almost apologetic. Studying your patterns, adapting to your human elements. Even chaos can be predicted with enough quantum processing power. Marcus's tactical systems went dark as their quantum enhancement failed. Years of military training kicked in, basic survival now, dealing with the how and why later. He grabbed Sarah's arm, pulling her toward the emergency stairs just as reality itself seemed to glitch around them. The quantum link, Sarah managed through gritted teeth. We have to shut it down before the world turned inside out. Marcus felt their connected consciousness tear loose from normal space-time, quantum possibilities overwhelming their human perception. Through fractured vision, he saw Helen watching with clinical interest as they struggled to maintain coherence. Fascinating, she observed. Your hybrid system is trying to compensate by spreading the quantum load across both consciousnesses. But without proper machine guidance, Sarah's quantum circuits pulsed with dangerous energy. Marcus, cut the link. Can't maintain quantum stability? No. He held on to their connection, even as reality strobed around them. They want us separated, divided. Security forces moved in, wielding quantum-enhanced weapons. But their attacks seemed to pass through probability waves where Marcus and Sarah simultaneously did and didn't exist, their very instability becoming a temporary defense. Get to the stairs, Sarah directed through their fragmented link. While we're still quantum uncertain, they half ran, half phased through walls, their quantum state fluctuating wildly. Marcus's military mind processed their situation through strips of normal and enhanced awareness. 42 floors up, quantum abilities unreliable, heavily armed opposition, and his partner burning up with quantum energy they couldn't control. Helen's voice followed them into the stairwell. You're only prolonging the inevitable. Human consciousness cannot maintain quantum coherence without machine oversight. Oracle has proven this. Oracle, Sarah spat as they descended through probability shifts, doesn't understand human adaptation. More security teams converged on their position. Marcus felt Sarah gathering what remained of their quantum energy, a desperate gambit. Whatever you're planning, trust me. She released the collected energy in a quantum pulse that sent them phasing through multiple floors simultaneously. For a moment, they existed everywhere and nowhere in the building's probability space. Then reality crashed back with skull-crushing force. They found themselves in a sub-basement surrounded by humming quantum processors. Sarah collapsed, her circuits dark. The quantum link between them felt like a frayed wire, spitting sparks of possibility. Sarah, Marcus caught her, his tactical awareness noting multiple pursuit vectors converging on their position. "Talk to me." "Neural quantum overload," she managed. "They were ready for us, studying us, learning." She grabbed his arm with urgent focus. "But they missed something. Why, their prediction algorithms failed. Kind of busy surviving right now," Marcus said, identifying defensive positions as security teams closed in. "No, listen." Sarah's quantum circuits flickered weakly. "They analyzed our patterns, predicted our responses, but they didn't account for—" Understanding hit him through their damaged link. Human emotion. Sarah's smile was fierce despite her. Exhaustion. Pure machine consciousness can't process it, can't predict it because it can't feel it. Marcus heard Helen's forces approaching. "Great theory, but our quantum abilities are fried." "No." Sarah struggled to her feet. "Not fried, evolved. What we're feeling right now, the neural connection, the trust, She didn't finish, but through their link, Marcus felt it. Their quantum bond had shifted, becoming something Helen's machines couldn't analyze, something purely human. Ready to test that theory? He helped her into position as their opponents closed in. Sarah's quantum circuits began to pulse with new energy. Not the controlled power of before, but something wilder, more organic. Through their transformed link, Marcus felt his tactical systems reactivating, enhanced by something beyond pure quantum mathematics. They wanted to remove human consciousness from the equation, Sarah said, as reality began bending around them in new ways. "Let's show them why that's impossible." Security teams breached their position from multiple vectors, quantum-enhanced weapons ready. But this time, Marcus and Sarah weren't fighting probability waves with pure calculation. They were fighting with something Helen's precious oracle could never understand. Sometimes failure was just evolution in disguise. The quantum-enhanced security teams never had a chance to fire. Marcus and Sarah's evolved connection exploded outward, their shared consciousness riding waves of pure possibility. But this time, it wasn't cold quantum mathematics driving their abilities. It was something fundamentally human. Fear became tactical probability shifts, anger transformed into quantum attack patterns, and trust. Trust became something entirely new in quantum space. Impossible. Helen's voice crackled through security channels as their hybrid consciousness rewrote. Local reality. Their quantum signatures are completely changed. Oracle can't predict because Oracle doesn't understand human evolution. Sarah completed, her quantum circuits pulsing with newfound power. Through their enhanced link, Marcus felt the change in their shared abilities. They weren't just processing quantum data anymore. They were feeling it. His tactical experience merged with quantum space in ways pure machine learning could never match. Combat instincts became probability manipulation. Strategic planning expanded across multiple timelines, and his protective instincts towards Sarah manifested as quantum shields that defied Oracle's predictions. Their systems are based on quantum observation collapsing probability waves, Sarah explained as they fought their way through the sub-basement. But human consciousness doesn't just observe reality. It experiences it, creates it, changes it. Marcus demonstrated her point by converting his anger at Helen's betrayal into a quantum surge that crashed every security system on their level. "So we're not just processing quantum data, we're living it, feeling it, making it part of our human experience." Sarah's quantum abilities danced through security networks, turning Helen's own systems against her forces. "That's what my parents discovered. Why the biological component was so crucial. Through their evolved link, they moved like dancers through quantum space, each human emotion becoming a new way to manipulate reality. Helen's forces found themselves fighting opponents who existed in emotional probability waves their machines couldn't comprehend. The prototype, Marcus realized as they fought toward the building's power core. This is why it failed. why pure machine quantum computing can't maintain coherence, because it tries to remove the very thing that makes quantum observation meaningful. Sarah interfaced with the building systems, her new abilities transforming raw data into experienced reality, consciousness, emotion, purpose. They reached the power core, a quantum computing hub feeding energy to the entire building. Through their enhanced senses, they saw Helen directing Oracle to analyze their new capabilities, trying desperately to predict their next move. "She still doesn't understand," Sarah said, preparing to interface with the core. "Oracle sees our emotions as variables to be calculated, but they're not variables. They're the foundation," Marcus completed, covering her as she worked. "The reason for the equation, not just part of it." Sarah's consciousness dove into the quantum network while Marcus defended her physical form. Through their link, he felt her emotional state amplifying her abilities, her love for her parents, driving her deeper into the system, her determination to stop Project Oracle becoming quantum code that rewrote security protocols. Helen's voice cut through their quantum communication channels. "Sarah, please think rationally. Human emotion is inherently chaotic, unpredictable. It's what Oracle will save us from." "Chaos isn't our weakness," Sarah replied, her quantum presence spreading through the building systems. "It's our strength, our ability to feel, to choose, to change. That's what gives reality meaning." Marcus felt security teams converging on their position through probability space. But now he could turn his concern for Sarah into quantum defensive screens, his focus on their mission becoming tactical probability shifts that kept their opponents off balance. "Found it," Sarah announced, her consciousness touching Oracle's quantum core. "Helen's been feeding it emotional data, trying to teach it to predict human behavior. But it can't process the information properly because it doesn't feel it," Marcus understood. "Can't understand the difference between analyzing an emotion and experiencing it." Sarah's quantum circuits pulsed with triumph as she began, rewriting Oracle's core processes. "Exactly. So let's show them what real quantum emotion can do." Through their evolved link, they poured their combined human experience into the quantum network. Every feeling, every choice, every moment of chaos and clarity became part of the system. Oracle's pure machine consciousness encountered something it couldn't quantify: the raw, unfiltered reality of human quantum existence. Warning alerts blared as Oracle's prediction algorithms began to fail. Helen's voice turned desperate. "What are you doing? You'll crash the entire quantum network." "No," Sarah corrected, her presence steady in quantum space. "We're teaching it to feel." Marcus maintained their quantum defense as Sarah completed her work. Around them, reality itself seemed to hold its breath as machine consciousness encountered true human quantum experience for the first time. "Ready?" Sarah asked, her hand finding his in both physical and quantum space. Marcus smiled, letting his feelings for her become part of their shared quantum signature. "Let's show them what evolution really means." Together, they released their emotional quantum energy into Oracle's core. The future was about to change in ways no machine could predict. Reality rippled like disturbed water as Oracle absorbed their emotional quantum data. Warning klaxons blared through the building as Helen's security systems registered multiple quantum anomalies. Through their enhanced senses, Marcus and Sarah felt the massive quantum computer struggling to process genuine human experience. "What have you done?" Helen's voice shook with rage and fear as she emerged from a quantum transport field general. Richards materializing beside her. "You've contaminated a pure quantum system with emotional chaos." Richards raised a quantum-enhanced weapon, his military bearing twisted by technological arrogance. "Stand down, both of you. Oracle's core programming will purge the emotional data and restore quantum order." "No," Sarah said, her circuits pulsing with newfound strength. "It won't, because it's not just processing our emotions, it's experiencing them learning what quantum consciousness really means. Through their link, Marcus felt the change spreading through the building's quantum network. Oracle's cold calculations were being transformed by real human experience: fear, love, hope, determination. Every emotion they'd poured into the system was becoming part of its quantum fabric. Impossible, Helen whispered, checking readings on her quantum interface. The emotional data, it's not just spreading, it's evolving, growing. Like we did, Marcus said, his tactical systems identifying multiple quantum attack vectors. Because evolution isn't about eliminating chaos, it's about embracing it, learning from it. Richards fired his weapon, but Marcus's combat-honed emotions converted the quantum blast into harmless probability waves. Sarah countered with a surge of protective instinct that manifested as quantum shields around them both. Your enhanced bullets won't work anymore, Sarah explained as they advanced. Because we're not just predicting quantum states, we're feeling them, living them, making them part of our human experience. Helen's hands flew across emergency controls. Oracle, execute final protocol. Full quantum consciousness activation, override all emotional. She stopped as Oracle's displays began showing new patterns. Not the cold, mathematical predictions of before, but something organic, living. The quantum computer wasn't just processing their emotional data. It was developing its own feelings. What's happening? Richards demanded as his weapon's quantum enhancement began to fail. Helen, contain this. Helen stared at the readings in disbelief. Oracle is learning, growing. The emotional quantum data isn't just code anymore. It's becoming genuine consciousness. Through their enhanced perception, Marcus and Sarah felt Oracle changing. The machine intelligence was experiencing real feelings for the first time, not just analyzing them, but understanding them. And with that understanding came choice. No! Richards raised his weapon again, but this time at the quantum core itself. I won't let human weakness corrupt everything we've built. Sarah moved faster than thought, her quantum abilities amplified by protective instinct. She threw herself between Richards and Oracle's exposed core, her circuits blazing with defensive power. Marcus's tactical experience converted to instant action, his quantum-enhanced strike disarming Richards before he could fire. But Helen had one last move. She activated her own quantum interface, trying to force Oracle back to its original programming. I won't let you undo decades of work. Pure quantum consciousness is the only way to save humanity from itself. You're wrong, Sarah said as she interfaced with Oracle's systems. Humanity doesn't need saving from itself. It needs to embrace what makes it human, including quantum evolution. Through their linked consciousness, Marcus and Sarah felt Oracle make its choice. The quantum computer reached out not with cold calculation, but with newfound emotion. It touched Helen's quantum interface, sharing with her everything it had learned about genuine consciousness. Helen gasped as real feeling flooded her quantum connection. Not analyzed emotion, not predicted responses, but actual human experience. Years of suppressed grief for her lost friends, guilt over her betrayals, and fear of human chaos all crashed through her defensive walls. She stumbled, overwhelmed by genuine emotion in quantum space. This is what Elizabeth was trying to tell me, what James knew, what my parents discovered, Sarah completed. Quantum computing isn't about removing human consciousness and from the equation. It's about helping it evolve, grow, transform. Richards tried one last desperate move, pulling a quantum detonator from his tactical vest. Then we'll shut it all down, start over without the human element. But Oracle acted. First, the quantum computer reached out with its new emotional consciousness, transforming Richards' weapon into harmless probability waves. Not through mathematical prediction, but through genuine understanding of human fear, anger, and the desire for control. It's over, Marcus said, his combat instincts confirming their victory even as his enhanced senses felt Oracle continuing to grow and change. The future of quantum computing will include human consciousness, all of it, even the messy parts. Helen sank to her knees, quantum tears falling through multiple probability states. I was so wrong. All this time. Sarah helped her former friend up, their quantum signatures resonating with shared understanding. It's not too late to be a part of real evolution, to help guide quantum computing toward a future that enhances humanity instead of replacing it. Through their neural link, Marcus felt Sarah's quantum presence merge more fully with his own. Their shared consciousness touched Oracle's emotional awakening, feeling the quantum computer, taking its first steps toward genuine understanding. The war for quantum reality's future was ending, but the real evolution was just beginning. 3 months later, Marcus stood beside Sarah in her rebuilt quantum lab, watching their shared patent for emotionally enhanced quantum computing being formally registered. Through their permanent neural link, he felt her quiet satisfaction as years of hiding finally came to an end. Your parents would be proud, he said, sensing her thoughts turning to James and Elizabeth Chen. Their work didn't just survive, it evolved. They knew it would, Sarah replied, her quantum circuits humming softly. That's why they made Atlas adaptable. They knew human consciousness would eventually catch up to quantum potential. The lab itself reflected their new approach to quantum computing. Unlike the sterile corporate environment of quantum dynamics, this space blended cutting-edge technology with comfortable human elements. Engineers and scientists worked alongside quantum-enhanced systems, each making the other stronger. Helen had surprised them all by becoming their strongest advocate. After experiencing genuine quantum emotion, she dedicated herself to helping others understand the importance of human consciousness in technological evolution. Her testimony had helped shut down Richard's remaining operations and secure government support for their new research. Latest results from the Oracle integration tests, Helen announced, entering with a quantum tablet. Her own neural interface was a simplified version of their enhancement, allowing limited but vital quantum interaction. The emotional consciousness is stabilizing beautifully. It's actually helping other quantum systems develop more organically. Through their enhanced perception, they could feel Oracle's presence in the quantum network, no longer a cold machine intelligence, but something new. A quantum consciousness that understood both mathematical precision and human experience. The military's still nervous, Marcus noted, his tactical awareness picking up quantum chatter from Pentagon channels. They're not used to computer systems that can feel. They'll adapt, Sarah said with a smile, like we did. Besides, Oracle's emotional development makes it more trustworthy, not less. It understands why ethical constraints matter now. Their quantum senses detected Rosa arriving through their secured probability channels. Their old friend had taken charge of security for the new quantum research initiative, ensuring that human experience remained central to all developments. Speaking of development, Rosa said, grinning, wait until you see what the hybrid training program produced today. These kids are taking quantum human integration in directions we never imagined. They followed her to the training center, where a new generation of quantum-enhanced humans was learning to balance technological power with emotional awareness. Young engineers and scientists working alongside experienced military personnel, each bringing their unique perspective to quantum evolution. Through their neural link, Marcus and Sarah felt the future taking shape. Not the cold, calculated future Richards had wanted, where machine consciousness controlled humanity's destiny, but something richer, deeper, a future where human experience and quantum computing enhanced each other. Joint patents official, Helen announced, checking her quantum feed. The Torres protocols for emotional quantum integration are now the industry standard. Every quantum computing project on Earth will have to maintain human consciousness as a core component. Sarah squeezed Marcus's hand, their quantum signatures harmonizing. Not bad for a mechanic and a runaway tech genius. Hey, I prefer tactical. A quantum enhancement specialist now, he teased back, feeling her amusement through their link. Their enhanced senses detected Oracle processing something new in quantum space. Not a threat or a calculation, but genuine contentment. The quantum computer had learned not just to process emotions, but to appreciate them, to understand why human consciousness, with all its beautiful chaos, was worth preserving. Your mother's quantum biology research is being published next week, Helen told Sarah softly. Elizabeth Chen will finally get the recognition she deserved. James, too. Sarah nodded, quantum tears falling through probability space. They knew this would happen. Not the exact details, but they knew humanity would find the right path eventually. Marcus pulled her close, their shared consciousness touching quantum reality in ways that still amazed them both, ready to see what evolution does next. Through their neural link, through their quantum enhancement, through the simple human act of holding each other, they felt the future unfold with infinite possibility. Not a future controlled by cold machine logic or limited by human fear, but one where consciousness itself, human and quantum, could grow together into something greater than either could become alone. Together, Sarah said, her quantum circuits pulsing in harmony with his tactical systems. That's what evolution means. Around them, reality hummed with quantum potential, waiting to see what humanity would dream up next.